Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about the motivation and success culture that dominates the Western mind, right? So America, North America, Canada, right? These sorts of countries, right? Mostly. So the success and motivation, inspiration culture, right? People like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Eric Thomas. You guys know who I'm talking about. The success coaches, right? These guys, right? There's nothing wrong with them. I learned a lot from them. But I think when you brainwash yourself too much with these guys, right? Or any success philosophy, right? When you are obsessed with that too much, in my own experience, right? Listen, this is my experience. I've got to points where I've burnt out, I've relapsed, and I've completely just went all out and forgot about what I was doing and kind of just stopped doing the important things, right? Now let me explain. So in the West, what do most people want, right? They want money, they want success, they want to build a business, they want to have a fit body, right? And so what are the ways that what are the virtues and character traits you have to develop? Discipline, determination, perseverance, commitment, four or five things, right? There's plenty of more, but so you need to develop those, right? But what happens when you're way too disciplined in your mind? You're way too like you overthink too much about the future and where you need to be, and you stress out too much, right? I'm sure this has happened to most of you. It's definitely happened to me. But what happens, right? You get too much in your head. You start to have doubts. You might have a little negative thinking here and there. And then, a week or two later, you kind of just relapse and you go into your old habits, right? How many times has that happened to you guys? It's happened to me so many times, right? And so that's sort of like the ego mind, right? It wants money, it wants fame, it wants power, authority, recognition, right? And so that's fine, right? That's fine. But when you're too consumed in that, when you're way too consumed in that, and you completely forget about the feminine, spiritual side of life, you burn out. You burn out so fast. And I've started to realize that there's no problem at all with having strong discipline, having commitment, perseverance. Those are absolute necessary parts of life to master life, correct? Right? Everyone agrees. But I think in the West we've kind of overdone that, let's say, right? We've overdone the whole money thing. We've overdone it, right? And I'm not saying any of that is bad. It's good. It's actually good, right? It's good to work. It's good to think about your future. It's good to have discipline. But when you completely ignore the spiritual side of life, when you don't meditate, when you don't stretch, you don't get in nature, right? I'm going to talk about those things in a second. When you kind of just ignore that, and you're constantly at work, you're constantly thinking about the future, you're constantly like worried about what you're going to eat next for your diet, your mind goes fucking crazy. And it causes you to overthink and eventually burn out, and you just completely relapse because you're like, I can't handle this. My mind's going crazy. It's thinking way too much. It's in the future. Right? So I'm going to give you a few things here that can help you kind of not like get rid of that, but kind of just balance you out, because that's what we need, right? We don't need to get rid of the Western philosophy of success, motivation, discipline, right? These hard masculine virtues, right? We don't need to get rid of it. What we need to do is we need to find ways to integrate the feminine, the letting go side of the human body and psychology, right? The psyche, right? Because we all have the ability to let go and relax at times, right? And so what's helped me a lot, guys, and I'm going to put this as number one, is grounding myself in the earth, getting my feet into the earth and just being in nature, Those two things right there. If you live in a cold country, it's probably going to be hard for most of the year to get your feet in the ground. But of course, with summer, you can do that. But being in nature, right, you connect more to the feminine side of the universe. And I notice when I'm in nature, I don't have as many like egotistical thoughts. I don't really think about money too much. I don't think about discipline. I don't really like, I'm not consumed in it so much. You guys know what I mean? I'm kind of just mellow. It kind of relaxes me. And I'm just kind of, I'm listening to the birds. I'm feeling the wind. Being mindful of my walking, right? So that really helps, guys. If you're struggling with this, that's number one. If you're not in, guys, listen, I don't know how people do it in the city, but if you're not getting in nature at least once a week, I find myself, I get lost. I get fucking lost. I get lost in my mind. I get depressed. I get anxious, and things just go downhill from there. So that's number one. Number two is meditate mindfully. I just finished a meditation session, and the thing with mindfulness meditation is it's hard, but when you focus on a sound, or you focus on the sensations in your body, you'll notice that your mind is not as hectic and it doesn't overflow with thinking. So you may have thoughts, come in every 1 or 2 seconds, or 3 or 4 seconds, right? But you have more of those little places where you're just kind of like mellow, right? You have those few seconds where you're not really thinking too much. You're kind of just connected with sound. Like right now, I hear the crickets. It's about to rain. I feel my feet in the ground, right? These are the types of things you want to embrace yourself in when you're meditating, right? Because when you do this, I'm telling you, you will not have like that many thoughts, and you'll be able to relax a lot easier. So that's number two, mindfulness, meditation. Not just meditation, because you can meditate. Because you can meditate, right? But you can also be completely mindless and be lost in your thoughts the whole time. So it takes some concentration and focus, but it definitely helps to ease your mind. So mindfulness meditation. If you want to go look more in depth in that, there's videos on YouTube. I don't know if I have one, but I might actually make one in the future, like a full on video of how to be mindful during meditation. So anyways, number two, that's definitely try to do that. Number three, what else has helped me? I'm gonna put these two in one. Breath work and stretching. Breath work and stretching are like huge, right? You notice that your mind, sometimes you'll notice that your mind's going crazy, right? And a lot of us think that we're depressed, or we have these victim mentality thoughts, or whatever, just negative thoughts, right? It happens all the time, right? We think that it's because of other people, right? Okay, right? Let's give an example here. Let's say you have a thought that you're not in the financial place you want to be in life, and you blame someone else, so you blame the government, right? So you actually think that it's the government and your parents' fault for you not being, having enough money, right? And that could be true, right? But you also have to realize that that's in your mind, and it's not actually in the present. So when you're in the present, right? When you're not fully, but mostly in the present, right? Those thoughts are kind of just it's just thoughts, right? It's not actually real, right? Those are just your mind making up victim mentality stories, right? So you may realize that when your body is tense, I notice when my body's extremely tense and tight, and I haven't stretched in a while, I'll start to get a lot of those type of thoughts. And I notice when I come out and I'm maybe in nature or even inside, and I just stretch my body, all of that goes away. It's so astonishing. It all goes away. And I just, because guys, think about it. if you're tense in your body, you're going to be tense in your mind, and you're going to have like thoughts that are associated with like angst and just tense, right? Like if your body's tight and tense, it's in a state of like anxiety because it can't let go, right? So if your mind's going to follow that, and your thoughts are going to be a reflection of your body, of your physiology. So you're going to have thoughts that are anxious and tense when you're thinking about the past, or mostly when you're thinking about the future. That's angst, right? So if you associate that with your body, right, it makes sense. There's a resemblance there. So stretching your body is like essential. Not every day, you don't have to do it every day, but if you're lifting, if you're sitting a lot, definitely stretch at least twice a week, I'd say. I stretch like maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I don't do it every day. You don't need to, but it's definitely like critical. And then breath work, right? I just did like 3 rounds of Wim Hof method. The breath work literally like it floods your brain with endorphins and dopamine, and endorphins are pain killing neurotransmitters, and dopamine is pleasure, right? Makes you feel happy. So when your mind, and actually I know endorphins are one. Don't quote me on dopamine, and I don't know if serotonin is released during the Wim Hof method, but endorphins are for sure. So again, it's obvious, right? If your brain's releasing pain-killing neurotransmitters, you're not going to have anxious thoughts. Simple, right? If you want a detailed, I don't know if I made a video on the Wim Hof method. It's pretty easy. You can look it up online if you really want to know how to do it. It's pretty simple. You basically just take like 30 breaths, and then on the 30th breath, you hold it for like, I don't know, 30 seconds, and yeah, it just melts away the stress. It just melts away every like part of negativity, and it just brings you into a state of like ease. Like right now, I feel so like at ease right now, and it's because I just meditated, I stretched, and I did breath work. And so yeah, a lot of you guys, you know, you have the success mindset. You want to achieve things, and you want to always, you know, kind of plan for the future. And I think that's key. But I also think that if you get too stuck in that, if you get way too stuck in that, you're gonna pay for it. It's gonna come hard. Because if you neglect your health, if you neglect your body, if you neglect nature, we're literally nature. If you neglect that, then you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost in the ego mind, and you're gonna be suffering as a result. And so, yeah, do those 3 things. If you really want to get into those, there's videos online on how to do them, how to do Wim Hof method, how to be mindful in meditation. Being outside is, you don't really need to know how to do that. You just go outside and walk. So, yeah, guys, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified when I upload. If you have any questions on this or anything else, feel free to leave it down below, and I will do my best to get back to you. And as always, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.